Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be letting you know everything you're going to want to about the Defender FVE, a Tier 9 Blitz Nation collector medium, which has currently just entered stores in Blitz for the first time outside of some random crate drops. This is an actual crate which is designed for this tank. Now, in chances of getting the vehicle, obviously it's slim to none. You're going to have to open a bunch of crates and just hope that you get lucky. We're not here to talk about the crate drop chances. As I always say, if you want to gamble, that's your decision. I am simply the messenger letting you know whether I think this is a good tank or not. Now, some of the things that are really cool about the Defender FE, first of all, this thing has really good armor. As we can see, loading gold with premium shells that have 320 mils a pen. It's got pretty good mantlet armor, upwards of 500 thick. It's only the turret cheeks, which are still over 300, that you can penetrate. However, it does have a very weak hatch on the roof, which is only 150. These two cutouts here do not actually count as armor, so that is something to keep in mind. But yes, in general, the armor of this tank is really good, and apparently we loaded into this game really, really late. But I did want to showcase the armor profile, just so that you guys could see. This thing does have pretty impressive armor, especially if you're able to hide the hull. In terms of the gun, as you'll notice, it has a 10 shell autoloader, which means that this thing is able to, well, I mean, I can just show you. That's the gun. It shoots all 10 shots immediately, which is obviously incredibly unique. The only other tank in the game that I can think of that does this is the Leopard at tier 5. So being able to drive at tier 9, which can just go is pretty dang cool. We got the enemy 92E1, and there you go, 380 damage into that player. Now, we are in a bit of an awkward position here because we got a Type 61, we got a T-22, we got a whole bunch of tanks on me, and obviously I'm not able to do too much, but we're going to poke the Type, and there you go. That's a lot of damage there, 621 into that player, and then we back up again. As I mentioned, because this thing is actually really good turret armor, it's also very easy to poke enemies and not really have to worry. It's also really good at damaging enemy modules because it has so many shells. So, 3 clips, 1500 damage, that's pretty normal, judging that this tank does 500 damage per shot. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, Droodles, this thing seems really overpowered. Trust me, it's not. I've played this tank a lot. I've got almost over 100 games in this thing now, and while I have had very, very fun games, it's very rare to actually have a crazy high damage battle. And the simple reason is because it's a super, super RNG-based tank. So if your RNG doesn't support you, it's very easy to have a pretty unenjoyable experience, especially at distance. You can imagine how when you're trying to burst all these shells out, it might not be the most efficient. So there are definitely downsides to this vehicle that you're going to have to keep in mind when using it. But it also has plenty of upsides, which do make it really fun. So what we're going to do right now is I'm actually going to push the T-22. And I'm hoping that if we push this guy enough, he's going to back off the hill. That would be the ideal play. We have the Type on the flank, and that Type's the player I'd love to get cleared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up over here, and we're going to aim it on that Type, and there you go, 406 damage. That player's out of the game. So we got to reload again, 7 more seconds, and then we can push the enemy T-22 medium. 3, 2, 1. Let's aim it on the T-22. Not bad, but you'll definitely notice there how, even though this thing does do a lot of damage, it can also be really, really tricky to get out that damage sometimes. And now we have the enemy T-22 who's rushing me. Now this thing is surprisingly good at ramming, which means that you can actually get away with some very aggressive plays. We're going to aim it on the T-22 turret cheek, and we do get a pen. And this guy doesn't know how to pen me. It's such a good example of where this tank's armor is actually a really, really big strong suit. That T-22 probably thought to himself that he was hot crap, and guess what? Now, he's just crap. So we're going to drive off this ridge. We're going to face hug the T-22. He's going to back up. We're going to load, we're going to fire standard shells. We got so many shots that even if we only penned half of them, we'd still kill that guy pretty reliably. So we kind of dominated the medium flank. We took out the T-22. We took out the Type 61, and we took out the 92E1. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and climb up this hill and support my team. You'll notice that this tank is not very fast. Its power to weight ratio it's pretty bad. It's probably one of the slowest mediums in the game, so that is something to keep in mind. But hey, just took 405 off the enemy Type 5 Heavy, and hopefully that's enough to allow our team to get the clear. If not, I reload in just a little bit. However, it might actually be more efficient for me to shoot something like the 60 TP. No, my team just seems awful, dude. I am gonna... Nah, I don't have any opportunity to shoot that guy. And the Type 5 right now is making it a little hard for me to hit him, but there you go. We do end up hitting the shells into the enemy Type 5. We're not gonna win this game. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered what I done in this battle. The fact that I basically cleaned the entire medium flank up myself, and our team is still losing this is pretty tragic. I'm gonna say I don't. Yeah, I seriously don't know how our heavy flank fell apart. We had 4 heavies, dude. And the E3 does not appear to be AFK, which really sucks for me specifically, because with the E3 not being AFK, I was hoping that we could kind of catch them off guard. Okay. Well, we're going to head all the way over here into the spawn. And the reason why is because I haven't seen the E3 spotted yet. I'm going to assume that they're in the back over here, so we'll see. If I run into the enemy 60 TP or E5, then it's whatever. But we're going to try and do our best, and just potentially get out a little bit more damage. But again, you can see the mobility on this tank. It's not great, right? We're chilling at 42 kilometers per hour right now. And while we do have super speed boost, it's not really going to help me all too much in this situation. So we're just going to keep on going here. There you go. We got the enemy 60 spotted. And let's see if I can get some damage into that player. Bonk. There you go. 337 damage. It's not too bad, to be honest. It's still a little chunker of damage. Enemy 60 TP's moving up. We're going to reload again. 3, 2, 1. Let's see if that 60's still sitting there. There he is. And we can load a gold clip and get another 330 damage into that player. It's pretty good. Now we got to back up because obviously the 60 TP is going to try and push me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bait him. But I feel like that's not going to work all too well for me. We're going to back up here. And this is where the armor on this tank should actually be quite nice. And there you go. The 60 doesn't pen me at all. We're actually doing pretty good. I don't think the 60 TP is enjoying our company. I'm just going to back up. 60 TP still in a real awkward spot here. 3, 2, 1, and bonk. Oh, yeah. 530 damage, and we're going to put on my reverse, which is going to make it very hard for the 60 TP to actually push me. And let's just chill here, try and hide my lower plate to the best of my abilities. Face hug him, and there you go. That player is out of the game. We're up to 5,600 damage now, which is pretty good if you ask me. We do have the enemy E5 in front, but unfortunately for me, it doesn't matter what I do. We actually drawed the game. I tried my best, dude. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you play this game, and oh well. I mean, let's take a look at the post-game results here. 5,936 damage. We aced. We got 5 kills, and by the way, the only 2 tanks left on the enemy team were also killable, which means that in total, I could have literally gotten 7 kills. I don't know what our team was doing. 0 damage, 116 F3. I mean, dude, I think I have the right to complain about my team in this battle. But we can clearly see where the Defender FVE is actually a really, really good tank. When you're able to use the armor this thing has hauled down, and you're able to pair that with a gun that does a decent amount of damage, and the fact that this tank is a medium, so you're not taking up a heavy slot, it's just this really nice combination of capabilities that allows the FVE to be really fun. If you're looking for a tank that is legitimately just fun, not the best in terms of carrying games, just a fun vehicle, this is definitely the choice I'd recommend to go for. Now this game, unfortunately, the enemy team has 2 mediums. They have an Object 84 and an E50M, and there is no way in hell I'm driving my Tier 9 medium against 2 tanks, one of which is one of the strongest Tier 10s in the game right now. So instead, I'm going to use my speed boost, bail out of the medium flank, and move over towards the heavy side. We've got a Type 5 heavy, we've got an E100, we got a lot of hard-hitting tanks, so we'll see what happens. We can see that most of the enemy team is over here. The only 2 tanks that aren't spotted are indeed the mediums, so what a shocker. Alright, we're going to keep moving up. We got the... Yep, there you go, E50 spotted on the flank already. Not too shocking, even in the slightest. We have the Błyskawica, which I got 50 damage into. You know what? It's 50 damage I didn't have, so I guess it's better than nothing. We're going to reload again. I'm going to try and get some damage into the enemy E50. So let's reload. 3, 2, 1, aiming, and oh yeah. 404. Not too bad. Like, even if you don't pen all of your shots, just penning a little bit will still take, you know, some HP off the enemy. And every bleed counts, so when we bleed them out, it's kind of a big win for us. We got the Błyskawica over here, which, yeah, that's more where the damage feels pretty lackluster on this tank. I mean, you saw that. We took a a Błyskawica down 200 health. It's really not enough to make a noticeable difference. So we're going to sit here and we're going to wait. And let's aim it on the E50M lower plate. There you go. Look at all those shells we put into the lower plate of that E50M. That is hilarious, dude. Alright, well, we're just going to keep waiting. I'm going to reload again. I don't really see a situation where this E50 is going to win, to be honest. I'm going to aim in on their tank, and I'm going to push the E50. I just don't really see how they're going to be able to counter me. If I ram this player, because this thing is really good at ramming, as I told you guys, there you go. Nice little ram, and then I can pen them in the upper plate. Oh, really? I almost killed them. Almost. But again, like, this E50, they literally don't know where to pen me. Because this thing's hull is really strong. So this guy's shooting at the wrong spot. We're going to load gold, and there you go. I knew that it wasn't a guaranteed pen on every shot, but we only had the pen, like, 2 to take out that E50. So at this point, there's only 2 tanks left. We have an Object 84 and a BZ-75. The E50M's crying about me killing him, even though he's literally in the most overpowered medium that has reactive armor. Not my fault you don't know how to play the game, dude. Alright, let's move up to the BZ-75, and I'll take it. 297 isn't bad at all. Now, the Object 84 I have not seen at all, which makes me believe that the Object 84 is AFK right over this ridge. And the only tank that's faster than me up this hill is the Object 260. Huh. I guess the Object 84 isn't AFK. I really thought that they were AFK, but I'm not really sure what they are if they're not detected. Let's use our speed boost and head into the dunes here. I still feel like this object went AFK, and they're somewhere in this side of the map. It's just interesting that we haven't seen them at all throughout this entire battle. Our 260 is going to go all the way wide, and I'm just going to cut right through. 260 doesn't spot anybody over there. Interesting, dude. I don't understand where this guy could be. Ah, there you go. There it is. Okay. Well, 260 gets a nice high explosive pen into that player. And, well, I'm going to try and pen him. I actually could pen HE, but it's not really worth the risk. I'll take it. 511 damage. I ended up dealing 2,560 damage in total this game. And you can see again how that E50 just completely got bamboozled on trying to penetrate this tank. The armor on this vehicle, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a solid armor profile. But, like, the enemy E50M should not have struggled to cut through me. You go to tier 10, you go to Germany, you go to the E50M, and this is what that tank sees. It has 2 easy pens right on the cheeks, and not to mention, the entire roof is an easy pen. Aim at the hatch if you're fighting this tank. If it's hull down, you still have that hatch visible. It's incredibly easy to pen. Problem was that E50 was trying to shoot my upper plate, and as you can see, that upper plate is upwards of 400 thick. It's not a good play, and I'm running enhanced armor, so it's just never going to be the right play to shoot that thing's upper plate. It will not work for you. But we had a fine game, 2,600-ish damage, and we finished top on the team. If you take a look at my overall stats in this vehicle, I've got a 70% win rate with 2,700 average damage. It's nothing crazy in terms of win rate or average damage at tier 9. There are plenty of tier 9 vehicles which I perform higher in damage and win rate in, which showcase that while this vehicle is very capable, it's not a tank that I'm dominating battles in. The problem is, over distance, that gun is incredibly useless, because let's say you're shooting at a tank, you know, 150 meters away, and it's on the move. Half of your shells just aren't going to hit the tank, and the other half that do hit still might not pen. So you might only deal like 150 to 200 damage. Not only that, but when you're shooting at tanks' hatches, it's very hard to deal consistent damage because maybe only half of your shells will hit the hatch. Leading shots is very challenging because you have to lead an entire clip, not just one shell. So there are definitely moments when I drive this tank, and it doesn't feel the strongest, especially when you realize vehicles like the Eric Concept 1 exist, which have 2 500 alpha damage shots, and not only that, but there's also the T92E1, which has a 560 alpha damage shot on a light tank. So, again, this tank is very, very good, but it's got a lot of balancing factors. And you can see there exactly what I mean, right? You have all those shots, and I only pen 3. So, there are many balancing areas for this tank. Now, we have that 777, and I'm tempted to poke this guy. Let's see. Aiming. Boom, 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 boom. 318. It's not bad. But again, 318 damage, that's less than a shot in any tier 9 medium would normally deal. So the major strength for me in this vehicle is the armor. That's really your selling point. The armor and the fact that it's just a fun vehicle. So if you're driving this tank and you're thinking, oh my god, it's super OP, I mean, there you go, 99 damage on the side of the 62, where if I was in a normal medium, I might have just been able to snap that guy and take, you know, 350 health off. Alright, let's move up. Let's see, is this 62A? Indeed, they are crossing. There you go. When you do manage to pen all those shots, it feels really nice. That 62A is no longer healthy, and that's entirely the 62's fault. I don't know why they decided the YOLO like that. I'm going to ignore that flank over there. We're going to move up on the enemy 777, and we're going to aim it on their lower plate. And there you go. Wow. I just got heshed by the 183, dude, for 1,200 hit points. I don't know why the 183 was in the river. That's a play that I did not expect to see. But because of that, my game is basically ruined now. Isn't that great? We love the 183, guys. It's good for the game. Did you guys expect the 183 to be there? Well, I can't play aggressive anymore. I can't believe that that's where the 183 decided to sit. And unfortunately, you know, my Murat's moving up now, so it's alright. There's the enemy 92. Did shoot my Murat. 57 heavy is going to get heshed. I don't know why the 57 was so oblivious to the 183. What's going on here? I'd love to be able to shoot that 92E1, but I just... 302. You know what? If the Murat... Oh, the Murat was so close, dude. He was so close. This team, not doing great, but it looks like it is still definitely winnable. The 183's... I can't poke. As much as I want to shoot that 183, I know... Oh my god, I blind fired all of those, and then he got spotted poking. That's so tragic. Alright, well, I'm just going to chill back here. There's the enemy 183, which... I'm keeping an eye on him. Alright, the 183, I'm going to back up. Get a little bit of damage into that player, and drive back into cover. El frickin' bozo, dude. Yeah, what are you going to do, huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Run away. Alright, well... almost able to hit that 183 from here. Almost. It's so close, dude. Yeah, buddy. Get freaking crapped on my guy. Alright, well, we did 2,100 damage. But that's it. Again, as I said, like, the gun on this tank, you feel like you're doing a lot, but most of the games you play, you don't really deal that much damage. We got really lucky in that first game that we were able to put out as many shells as we did, and that the enemy team was as bad as they were. But, again, in general, it's a really fun tank. And that's all you should really take home when driving this tank, is that it's fun. You shouldn't be playing this tank thinking, oh my god, why am I not doing well? You should be driving this thing being like, oh my god, it's super fun, and I'm having a really good experience. If that 183 didn't nuke us, we would have been able to deal so much more that game. I would have been able to play aggressive against the enemy T92. I would have been able to play aggressive against the 183. But as I always say, it's the bad players that manage to catch me out more than any other player, right? That's always the way it is. Finally, we have a tier 8 match, and a pretty good one at that. We're completely top tier. I don't know why Wargaming's been giving me a lot of, like, bottom tier matches lately. Even in tier 8, I've been fighting tier 9s a lot. Like, today's live stream, I swear 80% of the matches I played, I was put at the bottom of the tier, and it was kind of cringe. But I will take 1 out of 4 matches where we are top. So, let's see what we can do. We've got a 53 TP, IS-6 up against us. We got some dangerous tanks. We got the enemy IS-6 all the way in the back, and I'm gonna actually aim in on that player. They look like they lagged out. And not bad. We penned almost all of the shells. I think we penned like 9 out of the 10, which is pretty sweet. Unfortunately for me, I don't appear to have that much support. That is not necessarily something I like to see. I don't love this, I'll be real. Wow, we penned 100 damage into the gonk. See what I mean by, like, hitting hatches, for example? You don't really deal a lot of damage. Now, it's fine, because in return, I got a bounce, because this thing's armor's still really, really troll, but yeah, you don't really deal too much sometimes. Alright, let's put on my speed boost, and let's climb up this hill so we can aim it on the rear of that gonk. Yeah, you see what I mean by this gun can be really troll sometimes? Like, that literally did no damage to that guy. Now, this gonk is most likely going to start turning around, which is obviously a big threat. Or not, or they're just going to sit there and take it like a champ. 504 damage. I still have team support, so I'm totally fine here. We can see that I have the Scepter, I have the Lechpanzer, so I don't need to worry about getting pushed or anything like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ignore all of this action over here, and we're just going to push over to the LT-432 I'm gonna ignore the IS-6. I wonder if we can HE this guy. Oh my god, we can. Ooh. We still only did 500. Yeah, the HE on this tank is actually useless. Apparently I'm a butt eater. I mean, you showed me your butt, so I guess technically you're correct. Oh, there you go, 150 damage. You can see how, like, the first 2 shells I fired, the IS-6 was a pen on the side, but then the other ones, he turned his tank and no longer became a pen. It's such a good example of how this tank's pen is completely dependent on, like, where the enemy's angled. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, CDA. Very helpful. What a freaking bozo, dude. And I'm gonna get shot for him, of course. Yes, of course. I will take damage for everybody. I hate teammates. Well, we did 2,100 damage again. The CDA is really annoying, dude. You can see one of the real big annoyances with this gun is when you're trying to shoot somebody and then your teammate just drives in front of you while you're shooting your shells. I think I penned like maybe 1 or 2 into that IS-6 before the CDA ate every other shot. But you're definitely noticing. We had a first game that was crazy good, and then the rest of the games we played kind of didn't do much, right? This battle, I did middle on the team, and it's just simply down to the fact that the gun doesn't deal that much damage. 500 sounds like a lot on paper, but when you realize that it's almost never going to pen all 10, it's more like 400 to 300-ish damage per shot. So I like this tank. I think it's really fun, and if you just want to drive a tank for the sake of it being fun, and after all, that's the whole point of playing a game, is to have fun, then this is a solid tank. It has good armor, it has good gun depression, and it's fairly flexible, which means that most of the games you play, it's not bad. But I can definitely tell you that when you go up against a situation that is unfavorable for you, it can be really unenjoyable to drive this thing. So I've had some very fun matches, I've had some very unenjoyable matches. Overall, I'll give this tank a solid 7 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.